What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to some more Littleroot laddering. So, rounding up this week, we have a submission sent in to us from Hannah, who I believe she said she worked on this with Spatula on Discord. So, really interested in playing with this. We have Life Orb Rayquaza backed up with the Friend Guard from Clefairy. Follow me for redirection so you don't actually take hits. From past that, we have Ensign, Eliki, Parasong, Freeze Dry, Lapras, Light Clay Lapras. There we go. That's the one we were looking for. And Black Glass's Urshifu, another one that we don't see a ton of in this format, but one that I'm excited to use just because of the amount of pressure it can actually put on. So let's just jump in. This is actually the first team that we have like doubled up on restricted mons since the start of the format. So really excited to see what we can do with this and if we can pull in the Master Ball this week. So let's get into game number 1. I know I'm very excited for this just because, like, Carl got to play with Rayquaza last time, so I have actually not got to play with this at all. So I'm really interested in see what we can do here as we go against Hard Trick Room here in game number 1 with the Hatterene, Amoonguss, Dusclops, Rillaboom, Torkoal, and the Cali Ice. So what's really interesting here is that Clefairy underspeeds the Cali Ice. And next to Urshifu, we should be able to do a ton of damage here. Do we have Parting Shot on Ensign? I do not remember. We do. So we can go Ensign Clef up front here with Urshifu and... Do I like Ray? I don't really like Ray. I'm kind of leaning towards Lapras here and having Lapras be our Dynamax target. Like, what is Ray actually doing here? I don't think a ton. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what we can do, and more importantly, what our opponent's bringing here. So we're going to see Hatterene Amoonguss. Pretty okay with this lead, all things considered. We're Citrus Ensign, so we are going to get redirected into the Amoonguss here. So Trick Room is going to go up. But honestly, I'm fine just taunting this Amoonguss. And do I like that? I think taunt is correct here. We could also just go for a big Flare Blitz, and I guess we'd just go for some chip damage in. But this is just going to be a Rage Powder. Yep. So we will get the taunt off onto the Amoonguss. We'll get a little bit of chip damage in on it. No big deal there. And the Trick Room does go up. So now I'm going to Parting Shot in on the Hatterene here, which is going to force him to switch out. And I'm going to protect the Clefairy. I'm really hoping they commit their Dynamax here to the Hatterene. I could also see whatever comes, like they could switch into the Cali Ice here. And I would be okay with that as well. But I'm not sure. It most likely is going to be the Amoonguss that switches out here if something does. Oh, this is great. This is fantastic. This is perfect. Because now our parting shot is going to go into the Hatterene, and it's going to trigger their magic bounce to have them parting shot into us, and that's going to force them to switch out. Ensign should take that. No big deal. Yep. Now we do have to fight through confusion this turn. But pending that we hit through confusion, we should be in an okay position. Gonna trigger our citrus. Question is do we hit? Of course not. Why would we get an attack off? So let's try it turbo mode this time. I really didn't want to reveal after you yet, but this seems like an okay time to do so. They're not targeting down the Clefairy, so there's really no reason not to do this. Like, the problem here is now we have to... They're going to withdraw the Amoonguss, completely fine by me. They're going to bring in that Rillaboom. This makes me really want to preserve Incineroar if we can. They're going to get another G-Max Smite off into the Incin. We get to live that once again. So I guess now that we know that the Hatterene is slower than Clef, there's no reason to go for the After You. Unless this gets around... Nope. It does not get around confusion. I've never seen that before. That's real funny. So the question is, what do they bring out here? I think the answer might be, yep, there's the Cali. So now, I think I just want to hard switch into Lapras here and protect the Clef. Of course. Grassy Glide into the Clef. Not enough to pick up the KO, but the Glacial Lance will be. But this is fine because now we can bring back in Ensign and negate the attack boost that he just picked up on the Calyrex. So we are going to bring back in the Ensign. We are going to get the Intimidate off, which is going to drop this Rillaboom to -1, which is really good for us. And now I think it's time for us to just Dynamax go for the KO on this Rillaboom. They could switch into... I think the best switch-in would probably be the Hatterene, but I'm fine with that. And we'll go for the Fake Out into the Calyrex this turn. This should be the last turn of Trick Room if I counted correctly, which would be really ideal for us because then we can get a parting shot into the Calyrex this next turn for to put it at -1, and then we can cycle back out and send one more time. Like if we just never let Calyrex get the ball rolling, I feel like we can win this matchup. We're going to see the Grassy Glide into Lapras. Still going to do a ton. But this should hopefully pick up the KO on the Rillaboom now. And it does. Okay. Little bit of recovery all around. And Trick Room is over, so that means they might bring out the Amoonguss this turn and try to go for a Trick Room on the Calyrex, but evidently they don't have it, so they're just going to bring it back out the Hatterene. So we could Resonance into the Hatterene plus Parting Shot into it to make it where the Amoonguss takes this hit. But honestly, I think I'm just fine, like, Geysering plus... I don't think they try to go for Trick Room here with the Hatterene. Just because we've shown them Parting Shot. There's a weakness policy. That's not great. That's really not great for us. But hopefully Lapras can pick up the KO here. Not quite. That's really unfortunate. That's really unfortunate because a Glacial Lance should be enough to... Oh, high horsepower is going to be enough to pick up the KO on the Ensign. We're just going to let them go to +3 now. And presumably a Trick Room go up. Yeah, they tried to... They set Trick Room in front of my Ensign that had Parting Shot. I mean, that's kind of, like, that's fine. Because that meant that they were picking up a KO on the Ensign regardless. But now it's kind of just Lapras versus the world here. So we'll go for the Geyser here. And go for the Sucker Punch into Calyrex. Should be enough to pick up the KO. Oh, they're going to withdraw. That's really smart. That's really smart. Which means we're going to lose Urshifu this turn. Yep, that's really smart on our opponent's end. I should have detected. But Hatterene should take this. And I think at this point, I don't think there's a way we can win this game. I honestly was not expecting them to try to set up another Trick Room, but I mean, it makes sense. Their team is very Trick Room oriented. It's very reliant on actually getting that up, so it makes sense, but I think had we gone for the big brain play of Parting Shot into it and let Ensign go down, I think we're in this game. We'll Freeze Dry into the Hatterene, try to pick up a KO this turn. Oh, okay. I was expecting just like a Pollen Puff into... Yep, this game's over. We are officially GG'd. Yep, had we gone for the Parting Shot into the Hatterene to make them switch out again, and then we could have picked up the KO on the Calyrex that following turn, I think we could have won. But unfortunately, kind of misplayed exactly one turn, and I think it was the turn that mattered. Like, we played that game really well, all things considered, I think. Like, forcing them out on their Dynamax so they don't actually get to fully utilize it was good for us. Granted, had we hit the Parting Shot the first turn, I think we were in a very good position, but letting Ensign take multiple hits there really did not end well for us. It just wasn't at a life total that could actually put on any kind of pressure like we wanted to with it. Had we gotten the Protect off with Clef, I think we were okay as well, because then the Calyrex doesn't go to +1. Ensign comes in and puts them to -1. And then, you know, like, we're in an okay position. That's one of the real reasons I despise G-Max Smite as a move, is the confusion. But, you know, it is what it is, and this is the life we live. So, next up we got Torn Ogre here, backed up with Amoonguss, Kartana, Ensign, and Eliki of their own. I think this is very much an Ensign game. Like late game Ensign's going to be really good for the Amoonguss and the cart. I really... We're physical Ray, right? Yes. Dragon Dance Ray. I really don't care for Rayquaza in the face of Kyogre. Like, Kyogre typically carries ice coverage, and I don't really appreciate that. So what if we do, like, Lapras and, like, Eliki up front here? And just put on a ton of pressure early. Backed up with Ray and Ensign in the back. I don't particularly care for Urshifu here. Clef seems pretty mediocre as well. Like, Rayquaza is going to come in and shut off the water boost from Rain Dance. But, like, they're not a dedicated rain team. So there's no, like, Swift Swims or anything like that that Airlock is going to shut off here. But that's fine. That may just be enough. Amoonguss, Tornadus. Okay. I'm honestly debating if I want to max Eliki here so we don't get spored to death. And I think that might actually be a solid play. Just double into the Tornadus here and try to take it out. If this is Rage Powder, that's fine. If this is Spore, I feel even better. This could be like Tailwind, which I'm fine with. Yep, there's the Tailwind. There's a Max Lightning, presumably putting this down to Sash. Yep. And then Lapras will pick up the KO on it. More importantly, this is going to set electric terrain, so our follow-up attacks are going to be even more powerful. Okay. So Tornadus down. And there's a Spore. That's fine. That's really fine. The question is now what do they have? Notably, Lapras is faster than Amoonguss still. I'm assuming this is going to be Kyogre here. There it is. There's your boy. Well, let's do the thing. Let's double into the whale. This is probably a Rage Powder turn, if I had to guess. Yep. Completely fine. We probably don't take the Amoonguss out. Water Spout's going to trigger our Water Absorb. No big deal there. It is going to do decent damage to the Eliki. And by decent, I mean put us down to Sash. Wonder if that's within Freeze Dry range. Not quite. Well, I think this turn... I think I want to preserve Eliki if we can. I know that sounds a little bizarre, but I'm fine with that. Because if we can pick up the KO on the Amoonguss this turn, then we can go for a Parasong next turn, and then we're set up to win this game. Like, it would be a 4v2, and I feel like we're in a very winning position at that point. If this Kyogre has, like, Max Lightning, I don't feel great. But I feel okay if this is just a... Yep, we're going to see a protect from the Amoonguss. That's fine by me. Those are the guys that are into the Eliki. That's completely fine. So this turn was kind of a dud all around. But, you know, that's fine. We got to make them waste a turn of their Dynamax, and I'm completely okay with that. How many turns of Tailwind do they have? Last turn. Do we go... Am I okay losing Ensign if it means we get to keep Eliki around? I don't think so. I think Eliki is really important for this end game. I want to preserve Eliki, but I think Ensign is very important for this end game. Pending that their last is Kyogre. That their last is Amoonguss. They're going to withdraw the Amoonguss into the air Eliki. Okay. Well, now I get a good chunk of damage in on the Eliki here with the Freeze Dry. Nice crit. Now their Tailwind is over, so I can protect this turn. I think the play is double protect this turn. And just stall out their last turn of Dynamax here. There's the Electro Web. And they do have Max Lightning. So they just completely ignored my Lapras here. Really surprised by that. I think the play is still take out the Eliki, and we'll swap right into Eliki and let it go down. So Ensign's not looking great here in this end game, just because like it doesn't particularly line up well against anything they brought. There's the Electro Web. Eliki is going to go down. That's completely fine. The question is, do they anticipate... what did they go for here with the Kyogre is the big question. Okay, Eliki goes down to Life Orb. That's really good. And Water Spout's just going to boost our Lapras back up. And now we get a Freeze Dry into the Kyogre. Yeah, real good damage there. And now rain is over. They can't switch Kyogre out. I can bring in Ensign, and we can fake out the Amoonguss plus go for Parasong this turn. And like if Ensign goes down, we have to... Alright, they're just going to double protect. That's completely fine. This is really good because now we can get Lapras out. Yeah, now we can do some shenanigans here and get our Mons all situated here. So now we can protect. We can switch into Rayquaza. No. I am fine to let Ensign go down. We need to remove the Amoonguss if possible. But now that Kyogre could still go for a water spout here, and it would do pretty decent damage to the Incin. But it's not rain boosted. They're at just over half health. Yeah, Incin eats that up. That'll trigger a berry. So now we get to Flare Blitz into the Amoonguss. That should take this out. Okay. So now we just stall out another turn here, and we win. Because Lapras is the slowest thing, but we should be fine here. Lapras is actually fine to stay in. We can go for a Freeze Dry, and we can switch the Incin out into Ray. And if Ray goes down, then we just get to bring back in Incin and go for a Fake Out, and that'll win. Opponent concurs that this game is over, so I'm really surprised they never targeted down the Lapras when they had their Dynamax on the Kyogre. Like, the fact that they showed us Max Lightning, and instead they went into the Rayquaza really confused me there. The fact that they just completely ignored my Lapras that entire game really just let us snowball and win. Yep, Min Speed, Clear Smog. Clear Smog is our only damaging attack, is fine. The fact that we were also able to prevent the Spore on turn 1 by Dynamaxing the Eliki, I think really just was really well played for us. Yeah, sure. Pretty stereotypical Tornadus. Personally, not a fan of Darkest Lariat. I would rather have Taunt in that slot right now, but that's all personal preference. And then, yep, Assault Vest, Cart. Yeah. Pretty standard team overall. That Life Orb on our Eliki really just helped us take control of that game as well. The fact that we were able to live exactly one turn of our Dynamax, so they weren't... the fact that they felt committed to... the fact that they felt required to commit their Dynamax to Kyogre really just helped us snowball. And the fact that, like, we got to chip damage the Eliki on the switch in really just solidified us that game. That crit probably won us that game because it meant that the Eliki just went down to its own Life Orb there. Last game of the day, we have another Trick Room team. This time with Indeedee Hatterene, P2, the Cali Ice, Torkoal, and Venu. Man, Ray really doesn't line up well against Hatterene or Cali Ice, in my opinion. I think this is just another that Ray has to stay home. Incin doesn't look great. Could do like Incin, Clef, Urshifu plus Lapras. Does this actually accomplish anything? I mean, they can't fire off like expanding forces here because we have Incin plus Urshifu. Incin lines up particularly well against the Cali. So yeah, this is okay. The fact that we ran into double Cali Ice here while we're playing Rayquaza isn't particularly good for the showing of it, but the one team we got to bring Rayquaza, we won today, so that's awesome. Let's see what opponent concurs here. Honestly, from their side, I would just expect like Indeedee Hat P2. Actually, it's probably Indeedee Hat Torkoal plus Cali. Their game plan is probably Dynamax to Cali, if I had to guess. So let's see what our opponent is up to. There's the Indeedee Hat. This is just going to be stereotypical follow me Trick Room on turn 1. So I think our play, I'm going to taunt the Indeedee. And we'll just go for a Moonblast here. And then next turn we can Follow Me plus Parting Shot off of the Hatterene, because they can't Follow Me next turn. Yep. And the Indeedee's damaging move is most likely... their only damaging move is Expanding Force, so Ensign should be safe there. Yep, Trick Room goes up. Please commit your Dynamax to Hatterene. That would make me very, very happy. Clef is going to take a smacking here, but I think I'm okay with that. Like, I don't really see another play that we can make that would let us firmly take this game. They're not going to Dynamax the Clef, or the Hat here. There's the Dazzling Gleam. That's fine. There's the Expanding Force. This is fine. No, not my Clef. But now this means that they get to bring in Cali Ice for free, which is not great, all things considered. But what this does mean is now we can Parting Shot off of the Calyrex, plus protect the Clefairy. No, we can after you the Ensign, because Clef underspeeds the Calyrex. No, stop it! Alright, they're going to bring in Torkoal. That's kind of fine. Because now I get a Parting Shot off the Torkoal. And more importantly, I don't have Ensign on the field. I kind of want to bring out Lapras. Yeah, let's bring out Lapras here. There's the Expanding Force. This is fine. This is fine. Really wish I could check how many turns of Trick Room there are right now. I think we go into Urshifu. I think it's a big time. It's about time we see a big Lapras here. The opponent's probably going to Dynamax their Torkoal if I was a betting man. 2 turns of Trick Room left. That's really unfortunate. Their Torkoal is -1. So I don't think they're going to Dynamax it when they have so many good options left in the back. But we are going to be able to get screens up here. So that's good. If they are going to withdraw the Torkoal, probably back into Hat. So they can potentially set up another Trick Room here in a few turns. Plus Hatterene lines up particularly well against the Urshifu we have on the field. So next turn we probably want to pull Urshifu out and go back into the Ensign, because we want to preserve Urshifu to be able to take on the Calyrex. Question is, do we see like a follow me here so that the... Nope, they're still taunted. They're still taunted. I knew that. And DD takes that okay, but now we have screens up, which is really what we wanted. Yeah, Lapras takes that okay. This is fine. We're okay. Now I'm going to Geyser the Hat to change the weather. And we'll bring in Ensign here. This Intimidate doesn't mean anything, but you know, it's good to have it. Yep, there's the follow me. So Ndidi is going to go down. This is their last turn of terrain, so that's cool. The old Razzle Dazzle. Geyser's going to take out the Ndidi. Actually, not quite. They did have Sun up, so that is going to protect them. So now we can go for a Geyser into the Hatterene plus a Fake Out into it, because they don't have terrain up, so we can reasonably Fake Out into the Hatterene. I can't imagine they have Protect on this thing. They could. Nope, no Protect. Yep, there's the follow me. So we did essentially waste our Dynamax, but we did get screens up, which I think is really important. So now, all we need to do is prevent them from getting another Trick Room up, and I think we're reasonably in this game. They're going to bring back out Torkoal, which is fine. So I think the play this turn is I want to go into Urshifu. No, I don't. I want to Hydro Pump into the Torkoal to prevent like good eruption damage. And I'm going to Parting Shot into the Hatterene, which will then force it out into... Yeah, this is all fine. Protect on the Torkoal is no big deal. Parting Shot is going to force the Hatterene out. And it's going to go into Ensign, which is completely fine. Problem is now they have Cali Ice on the field. And we have a -1 Ensign. And they haven't committed their Dynamax yet. So, I think this turn I want to Protect on the Lapras, and I want to switch Ensign. I'm going to Parting Shot off the Calyrex. They could Dynamax the Torkoal, which would actually be kind of scary for us. But this is going to put us in a position where we have Urshifu in on the field against Calyrex, while Trick Room is not up, with Ensign in the back. Like, I feel like that's an okay position to be in if it wasn't for the Hatterene in the back. Yeah, this looks to be... I believe Torkoal was Beast Ball? Yeah. We do still have screens up, so that's cool. Protect from the Lapras. And we're going to see Protect from the Calyrex. Okay. So I wonder if this is... I wonder if they have, like, Earth Power on their Torkoal. Nope, there's just a Max Flare into the Lapras. Honestly, take that okay. I'm gonna Perish Song here to force them to switch. That sounds really awkward, and I think that's the correct play. And then we're gonna Parting Shot off the Torkoal. It's like, if they want to commit their Dynamax to this Torkoal, that's kind of fine by me. Because now it's going to go to -1. I wonder if they protect the Torkoal this turn, actually, anticipating the Parting Shot. And, like, they're going to withdraw the Calyrex. This is fine. Because we get to preserve Ensign for the late game now. Torkoal's going to go to -1. So what's really awkward about this is we might lose Lapras this turn. And then we have Urshifu, who is in under Perish Song. They do have Quake. Okay. So now I'm going to switch Lapras into Ensign. And we will go for a Wicked Blow into the hat. This gets kind of beat up if they go for... What's the punish here? Like, Max Quake into the Lapras slot would not be great. They could live this and then go for Dazzling Gleam, which would pick up the KO on the Urshifu. Oh, that's really unfortunate. So I bet a Trick Room's going up now. And I don't know if we can play through a second Trick Room. It does let us eat our citrus, which is cool. Yep. But their Dynamax is over. So I think the play this turn... So we can fake out the hat. And we can Sucker Punch the Torkoal. Should we do that in the other order? I think the play is actually to fake out the Torkoal and to switch into Lapras here. Because if Lapras goes down, I'm kind of fine with that. And if they don't switch out this turn, that means they're going to lose a Mon to the yeah, I debated going for a Wicked Blow into that slot. But this is fine. But we don't have a Roar Veil anymore. That's really unfortunate. So Torkoal is switching out this turn, most likely. So I think our play... So we can go for the Parting Shot into the Calyrex, and we can go for the Freeze Dry into the Torkoal. Do I want to? Do I think I can live a Glacial Lance with Lapras? I think the answer is no. But I think this means if we... They're going to switch the Torkoal out. Though, they're going to let Torkoal go down. Interesting. I honestly expected the Torkoal to switch out there so they could preserve it. Like, no, I want the Calyrex on the field. Give me the Cali. Okay. So Torkoal goes down. That's really good. But, like, how do we win this end game? Because I believe there's still 2 turns of Trick Room. No. Come on. Yeah, 2 turns of Trick Room. So we can go into Urshifu, sack the Urshifu to Dazzling Gleam. Protect the Lapras. Then we can bring in Incin, go for a fake out into the Hatterene. Hatterene gets Brutal Swing. Interesting. So this is going to let them trigger their policy on Calyrex. Really did not see this going this way. And Glacial Lance is going to be enough to pick up the KO on the Urshifu. So now they're at +3. That crit really didn't matter. But now we get to bring in Incin. They go to +2. And I think we have to fake out the Calyrex this turn. We fake out the Calyrex. We freeze dry the Hatterene. Please don't take Lapras out. Yep, that's unfortunate. Because this game is now officially over. Like, we can Flare Blitz, but then we go down to Flare Blitz. But we're going out on our terms, and that's what matters. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. GG's opponent, GG's. Really interesting that we ran into double Hatterene, double Calyrex today, but I think this team has an okay matchup against it. If you can get into the right positioning, but I think that positioning is fairly difficult to get into, to be 100% honest, because it involves like perfectly cycling Incin. No, I did not want to do that. Nope. I did not mean to do that, but it's alright. So I think it involves like cycling Incin plus getting Urshifu onto the field while Trick Room is not up, to where you can take the Calyrex out while not being threatened by Hatterene. The fact that like you can get into board states where Calyrex plus Hatterene are both on the field makes it where it's really hard to position Urshifu to be able to do what you want it to do, because you're threatened by you're threatened by the threatened by the Hatterene. What you are putting on immense pressure on the Calyrex. So it's this really awkward give and take where you need to be able to, like, if you can clear the Hatterene, I think you're in a really good position. And that's kind of the problem we had, is we were never really able to put pressure onto the Hatterene like we wanted, and as a result, it just didn't ever go the way we wanted it to go. The fact that we don't have like any steel typing, like any steel attacks here to like put super effective attacks in on the Hatterene is kind of awkward. Obviously, you can also hit it with like poison typing, but like that's not super common anyway. But you know, I think that's a really interesting case where it might just be that I'm inexperienced with this team enough to where that cakewalk, you know, that matchup is a cakewalk, and I'm just not positioning myself in a way to be able to capitalize on it. But that is going to be it, everyone. Hannah and Spatula, thank you so much for sending this to me. This team is it's a ton of fun. I'm really enjoying the games that I've got to play with this. So you all have a fantastic day. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications when new stuff goes live. We got all kinds of stuff going up. Not to spoil anything, but Carl is working on a project, a new series for us. It's going to be really exciting, so look forward to that in the coming weeks. Hit that like button if there was anything in this video you liked, and comment down below what you would do in those Hatterene situations where you need to put pressure on it, but you don't have enough pressure to put on it. So that's going to be it, everyone. Have a good one. Peace.